Now let's take a look at the concept of table inheritance in Dynamics AX. When we extend a table, we're using the concept of table inheritance. A table can be extended from or derived from another table. Each table has a support inheritance property and the extends property, which together control table inheritance. We can set the support inheritance property to yes, and then use the extends property to choose which base table in the system we want to extend with the current table. In the terminology for table inheritance, we say that the derived table extends its base table. The purpose of table inheritance is to reduce work by allowing the sharing of attributes and fields from another table. Let's check out an example of how inheritance works. Let's consider the following three tables. In this example, the FM vehicle table is what we call the base table. So FM cars and FM truck inherit fields or properties from this table. There's no need to have common fields like VIN number, year, or vehicle make in all of these tables when the FM cars table and the FM truck table can simply both inherit these. Now you'll notice in the FM cars table, we have fields that are specific or independent to a car, such as the Boolean field sedan, which would be, is it a sedan? Yes or no. Is it a coupe? Yes or no. The FM truck table has a field called hauling capacity, which is specific to trucks. So independently, they have fields that are important or specific to them, and they can inherit other common fields from another table so that they don't have to be recreated and re-added. In order to use the concept of table inheritance in our example, I'm going to create an additional table. So I'll go to my project, I'll right click, and I'll choose Add New Item. Again, under the Data Model group, I'm going to choose Table, and I'll call this one DB Cars. So this table will be specific to vehicle types of cars. So this table is going to extend or inherit from the main DB vehicle table. So in order to set this up, what we first have to do is open up these tables in the Element Designer. So I'm going to go to my DB vehicle table, and if I scroll down to the bottom in the Properties window, there's a group called SuperType Subtype and a property called Support Inheritance. I need to change this to yes on both the base table, which is the DB vehicle table, and the derived table or the child table that is inheriting the traits. So I'll flip that to yes on DB vehicle. I'll save it. I'll go to my newly created DB cars table, and I'll go ahead and flip that same support inheritance property to yes. And on the derived table, there's another property called extends that we need to set. This tells it which table it's going to derive from. So I'll simply type in my DB vehicle table, and now it knows to inherit the traits or the fields from that table. So I'll go ahead and save this table. Now you'll notice if I right click on my DB cars child table here, there's an option in the context menu to go to table DB vehicle, so it knows that it's now an inheritance relationship. Okay, another thing we can do is if I right click on either the vehicle or the cars table, there's an option called view hierarchy, and this will show us a graphical view of the inheritance that's set up on this table. So it opens up a DGML file, and we can see it has DB cars pointing to the base table of DB vehicle. And if we were to set up additional tables that inherit from this DB vehicle table, for example, a truck table or a van table, we would see those appear here in this diagram as you continue to build out those relationships. Okay, so it's important to note that the DB cars table right now has no fields. So for example, I'm going to add a couple fields real quick. So I have a field I created called DB coupe and one called DB sedan, and these fields simply are no yeses. So is this car a coupe? Is this car a sedan? Now I can add those fields to the car table, and those fields are accessible from this table, but the idea with inheritance is now my cars table can access the fields from the DB vehicle table. So my DB vehicle table is the main base table, and that contains all those fields we added, like VIN number, year, and vehicle make. So I don't need to re-add those onto my car table. They automatically inherit those. So for example, if I were to create some code, I could reference those fields from my cars table in the code. And then if I were to insert a record into the cars table that had a field from the vehicle table, I could do that as well, and the code would know to insert the information into the correct table. So if I was updating a field like vehicle make on the cars table, it would insert that here into my vehicles table as well.